Hi guys, Alec, Peirce, Vintage Scuba, Sears, Simpson Sears, whatever you want to call it, Woolworths, all those, J.C. Penney, J.C. Higgins, Penny, all those famous department stores. Most of them are gone now, yeah. They were fantastic, but unfortunately, with modern retailing and with the internet, and online purchasing and so on, it's very, very difficult for them to keep up, very, very hard. But Sears at one time was known worldwide as probably the biggest and the best. They produced a catalog. Now there's the catalog from 1957. You get an idea of it there. I'm going to guess I bet you it's 2 inches. 2 inches thick, and they put out 4 of these a year. This is, I'm so sorry. This is spring and summer 1957. They had a fall, winter. They had the famous Christmas, and then they had a couple of special catalogs, much thinner, at another time of the year, which I forget. But Sears built their name on 2 things. Number one, and that was variety. They had everything. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Literally everything. Anything that anybody in North America, around the world, but in North America could possibly want. For anything. For their household, for their work, for their fun, for anything, they had it. I'm going to show you what I mean about that. So that was it. If you needed something, you went to the catalog. Okay? Number one. Secondly, you could buy it online. Now, what's your name? Kevin laughed at me when I said online, because there was no online then, obviously. But you could pick up the phone. And you use the phone line to buy it. Yeah, you could do that. You could mail it in too. The forms are in here. You could pick out what you wanted and the size and the color. There's the form right there. Pick up the size and the color and mail it in, a mail order, or you could phone it in. So basically it was the first online store. This is Amazon from 57. That's what this is. Amazon, 1957. Yeah, it was fantastic. And we had a lot of fun. We used to, we were reminiscing about reading the catalogs. Kevin's dad and my mom both worked at Sears. They were a big, big employer. Hundreds of thousands of people worked at Sears. It was a big, big deal. Anyway, so what's that got to do with Vintage Scuba? Well, I'm going to show you first of all, but just please indulge me here. Let me reminisce for just a moment, because this catalog is actually fairly valuable, quite collectible, and it's going to be gone very soon. I'm selling off most of my vintage stuff, and this will be gone very soon. So I'm just going to reminisce for a minute. I said that you can get anything. Baby chicks, there they are right there, baby chickens. So you can get anything on here. Let me see if I can find these pages that I marked that I thought were pretty neat, because some people say, what? You can't get that? Well, you can. Yes, sir. If you decided that you or your boy or your little girl wanted to have a pet, you could go to the Sears catalog and you could pick out a burro or a Shetland pony, any dog that you wanted. You see all the different breeds up here? Kevin's going to show you close-ups of these pages, but that's absolutely true. You could order a pony from Sears. Absolutely. Choose the color. That's right. And you could choose saddles and all that other stuff, of course. But then eventually, after 3 or 4 days or maybe a week, a truck would pull up in front of your house with your pony in it. Yeah, unbelievable. Kevin's going to show you a close-up of that in just a minute. So there you go. And somebody ever says to you, what can you order from Sears? They're kind of silly. Anything. And if you can pick up a catalog, you can't do that on Amazon. You can't order pets on Amazon. I don't think, anyway. I've never tried. But I don't think you can, Kevin. I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think you can. Now, the other thing Sears was very popular for was their tools. Very, very good tools. They're, things like table saws and so on, extremely well made. All cast iron and top quality. So tools were a really big deal back then. But here's one right here. Here's something else that you get. You don't find this in catalogs anymore. Certainly not. Now, maybe actually a little bit on Amazon, but certainly not like this. But here, I'm going to show you one page. Brakes, shoes, and carburetors. Yeah. Now, there are 2 things that make me think this is pretty neat. First of all, that you can get them. All right? If you wanted to order a new carburetor for your car, which would be pretty dumb because your car doesn't have a carburetor anymore, but if you did, maybe you have an older car, 10, 15 years old car, you want to buy a new carburetor, go to the Sears catalog. Go to the index. Look under C for carburetor. There it is. Make, model, everything's right in there. That's the first thing that's kind of interesting. The second thing is they would sell you a carburetor. They would sell you brake shoes or springs or anything you wanted. Now what are you going to do? What are you going to do with it? In those days, in the 50s and 60s, my generation, we did it ourselves. Yeah. If the carburetor was acting up, we would clean it. We would take it off and clean it. If it was broken, we would take it off, buy one from Sears and put a new one on the car. And we wouldn't be late for work the next day. Change the brake shoes, change the suspension, everything else. So it's pretty neat. Did I stay in there, that marker, Kevin? I guess it did. I want to save these pages so you can take pictures for these folks so they can see what's in here. Okay, so what else? Oh, I wanted to point this. I mentioned this to Kevin. This is pretty neat. Now, one-wheel trailer. People, why are you talking about one wheel? Right up there in the corner, Kevin. Now, it wasn't Sears didn't make this. Sears didn't make any of this stuff. Sears was distribution. Sears was Amazon. Amazon doesn't make a darn thing. But they have hundreds, thousands of retailers. And it was the same with Sears manufacturers. Well, I tell you, this one-wheel trailer was the best thing. It was fantastic. It was a standard utility trailer, like a box trailer, probably 6 feet wide and maybe 8 feet long. I'm not too sure. Had one wheel right in the middle under the trailer where it carried all the weight. He didn't have an axle that bent and so on. One big wheel in the middle on a swivel. Yeah, and so the wheel turned. You backed up and turned or driving ahead, the wheel turned, so it always followed the car. But it had 2 attachment points. It didn't have a hitch with a tongue. It had 2 attachment points, a bracket on the car. You brought the trailer up, never quite light, and you bring it up and put it into the bracket and put a pin through it and lock the pin, jump in the car and off you went. And they were great because you didn't have to, it wasn't a trailer. It became part of the car. The car just became 6 feet longer. She could drive around corners and back up and everything else. They were fantastic. One-wheel trailers. Some of you folks are, well, you're all divers, I'm assuming anyway. You want to buy a new boat. Yeah. So now, what do you do? I guess you go to the local marina and like buying a car and no, not if you have a Sears catalog. You go to the index. Under B, you'll find boats. And there they are. You could buy inboards and outboards and everything else you could possibly think of. So you could buy the inboard, the length you want, the color you want, the material. Well, they're all wood then. And the motor type, a boat. And a week or so later, a truck would pull up in front of your house and the guy would unload your boat. Crazy, huh? Again, something else you can't do anymore. If you guys out there that are hunters, trappers, and there's lots of people up here in Canada and in the United States as well, hunters and trappers, and you know if you need to get something for your hunting supplies, what do you do now? You go to Bass Pro, you go to Cabela's, you go to wherever it is you go to buy your ammunition and your guns and so on. Nope, not in 57. You go to the Sears catalog. Yeah, go to the index. Under G, you'll find guns. There you go. So what do you want? You want a shotgun? You want a rifle? What caliber? You choose it. And you send them your money in a money order. No credit cards. No PayPal. That's right. So you sent them a check or a money order. And a few days later or a week later, a truck would pull up with a box and the guy, here's your new rifle, Mr. Peirce. Have a good time hunting. Good luck. Drive away. Yeah. No paperwork. No registration. No licenses required. And it was pretty fantastic. Okay, so why am I talking about this in a vintage scuba playlist? Well, there's a really good reason for that, which I will share with you right now. I told you can get anything in the Sears catalog, and I wasn't kidding. Look right here, Kevin, right in this corner right here, right after the boats and accessories. This whole page is water sports equipment, and guess what's included? Right up in the right-hand corner. Yep, there you go, guys. You could buy a tank and a regulator. Now, it's a standard 72 cubic foot tank with a K valve on it, and the regulator is a 1954, I think it is, Kevin. Overpressure is the one that had the special hose from the box that came around and put the air directly into your mouth. So it was called overpressure, but it's supposed to be really easy breathing. In practice, it didn't come off quite so much. They didn't ask for a certification card. No, there weren't any certifications. Maybe in California, LA County, and I don't think YMCA, I don't know, any of them. There weren't very many. I first went diving in '58, the year after this, and nobody asked me for a certification card, and this is the gear that we used. You could buy the tank and the regulator for $137, I think. But you need just a regulator, $62. $62 for a brand spanking new Aqualung overpressure regulator. Anyway, there you go, guys. A little bit interesting, a little bit of reminiscing. The Sears catalog and vintage scuba gear and guns and boats and brake shoes and ponies. Unbelievable, eh? Oh boy. Anyway, a lot of fun back then. And it wasn't the only company. There were other ones. J.C. Higgins actually had their own branded regulators. I have a couple of them, single hose. Yeah, they didn't have a double hose, I don't think, but they had single hose and other companies as well. It was a wonderful, wonderful time to be alive in North America. And if you were a scuba diver, it was a great time as well. Things were so simple. We had a tank and a regular, fins and a mask. Done. Nothing else. That's the list of scuba gear. It was a great time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of reminiscing and some vintage scuba information for you. And we'll talk to you again real soon. Take care, guys. Alec Peirce, Vintage Scuba.